said, you know, Kenya is the headquarters of UN. So what does that mean? All the NGOs, before they get to any other country within the East African region, Kenya is the first starting point. So with that, already it makes us vulnerable in terms of let's attack here, the first number. Number two, I think Kenya is the only country where the Nyumba Kumi initiative didn't work out. It worked out in Uganda, it worked out in Rwanda and in other places. So what do I mean? Because if you go to a place like Kitengela, or you go to a place like Kajiado, deep inside, or you go to a place like Mpeketoni, you will find 5 neighbors who don't know each other. So what does that mean? If anybody comes to Kenya and is able to do bad things, he is able to come and stay in a place like Kithunguri, and nobody knows what this guy is coming to do. So that has made our country fertile for these guys to be able to get ahead. And
are these gaps that we can address? Because
yes.
When we say that Nyumba Kumi has worked in Uganda and in other countries, and it's not working in Kenya, then you begin asking yourself, what is this that we're not doing right? Because then we need to address, the security policies that we have, as well as just look at, the agencies like he mentioned earlier on, and just get to establish what are some of these things. For
the Nyumba Kumi initiative, I think it would have worked well if at all those who had been listed to be members of the Nyumba Kumi, the leaders, at least are given something by the government. Because you can't expect somebody to leave his house to go and walk at night and he comes with nothing. The wife will ask him, why can't you sleep instead of helping the government? And that's why you find we've been pushing for these guys called headmen, the headmen of every village, being given something the way an assistant chief is given something. Or the government gives out some money to this person as a salary at the end of the month. That could work out very well in building our structure for Nyumba Kumi. Because I can tell you from the deep inside my heart that there are people who are staying in Kenya here and nobody knows what these guys are doing. You go to places in towns and you find a place like Mutande. You'll be surprised people who are staying in Mutande are not even the locals. They're people from other countries. And that's why somebody talked and said that if you walk around, these guys who are selling jugus on traffic jams, they are not Kenyans. They are not Kenyans. So if they are people from Burundi, they are from where? How did they come to Kenya? And does it mean that these guys can be able to come in Kenya and be able to do some other things? You remember when we arrested people for the Gen Z riots? Right. Almost 70% of the guys who were arrested were non-Kenyans. Yeah, so you find how can a non-Kenyan be involved in Gen Z riots? Right. So that tells you or indicates very clearly that Kenya, we have a very poor Nyumba Kumi initiative. If I go to Uganda right now, let's say I'm coming to visit you. The first step is you'll ask me for your copy of your passport. Second thing, the Nyumba Kumi guy will come and ask you how long will he be here and where is he coming, what is he coming to do, and the whole process goes on up to.
And these LC1s and 2s in Uganda, are they paid? Are they compensated?
Yes.
Why should it? And it's fine to compensate.
They are paid.
But what is the role of the citizen?
They are paid. They are paid, and they play a critical role in the security of Uganda. For example, the hotels are mandated to make sure that every day they have to give a list of the people who visited them. In Kenya here, you can go and stay in a lodging or a resort for 3, 4, 5 days, and nobody knows what you come to do. So this tells you how this Nyumba Kumi thing was supposed to be done. And the problem has been, I think the Minister of Interior need to think outside the box and see, you cannot apply the Ugandan Nyumba Kumi or the Rwandan Nyumba Kumi here. Right. Because Uganda have a different history. Rwanda have a different history. We have a different history. So it's a question of just getting experts, putting them together, and then asking them how best we implement Nyumba Kumi. And it should be down up, not bottom up. It should be down going up. So that now this thing is really affected. The Nyumba Kumi are able to help the OCS, and then OCS, OCPD. That way things will able to work out. So the other problem we've had is the issue of easy planning. These guys are able to plan things very easily, and I am happy that the government has put pressure on telephone companies, because that's where the problem was. Because remember one guy who was arrested, he was having 50 SIM cards. How? Where did he buy them? Yeah, when somebody buys 50 SIM cards, automatically without even asking a question, that's a criminal. Because normal human being will have 2 lines, 3 lines. But somebody having 50 SIM cards, that has been a problem. But I'm happy that the government put pressure on telecommunication companies, and they were told very clearly, for you to be able to buy a line, you must be taking your passport photo, your full details. I think that has helped in terms of communication, because it was very easy for these guys to plan, and that's how, like the investigation from DStv, you find that these guys were able to go to the bank, they were able to open an account in the bank, the bank manager was able to open an account for them. These are some of the things that puts Kenya in a very awkward position as far as terrorism is concerned. But all in all, I can say, as much as we have these challenges, I think the government has tried in terms of trying to make sure they fill the gaps that are there. It's not very easy, because remember, the enemy is just here. Right. And these guys can cross Boni Forest, they can be able to come in Kenya. Now with the new ID, where the president proclaimed that anybody can get the ID, we don't know whether you are a Somali-Somali or Somali-Kenyan. Right. Anybody can. Now that complicates issues. So what does that mean? The security agencies have to really put the areas on top of they really have to work extra hard. 2 times more than what they've been working. Otherwise, if we don't, the bad guys will come in. Now, if that happens, now that means our passport value internationally comes down. Okay. Because everywhere you go to Britain, you are Kenyan, people want to check, you really are Kenyan, you know, they want to check who you are, what have you. We shall go into serious screening as far as international visas are concerned. And that will put Kenyans who are traveling in a very awkward position.
Would we say that then the policy makers are, taking us steps ahead, like 2 steps ahead and then 10 backward? If you're going to look at some of these gaps that we continue to speak about, I mean, things that have been in existence, things that are coming in and are pretty much new, of course, in the spirit of saying, well, we want to have peaceful coexistence with our neighbors. We want to create an environment where even our neighbors can come in and, conduct their businesses, work in Kenya without having to struggle. While it might be a beautiful thing, do you suppose that then we are setting policies or security policies that are good enough to, number one, serve the purpose of ensuring that the country is secured, as well as helping us seal the gaps that have been in existence?
Leadership is the problem. Because you see now, Prof. Kindiki came in, set up policies, blah, 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 blah. Then within a short time, again he's removed. Murkomen is there, now trying to...
So is it the leadership or the structures? Because I'm assuming that if we had proper structures...
In leadership, I can't be a leader. I come up with a very good security plan, or even say policies. Before I implement, I'm out. Now another person again comes in. Like now the current, this thing we are calling it what? The one Murkomen has been going around talking to chiefs. Yes. That's the best thing that has ever happened in my view. Yeah, because I think now Murkomen has now been able to see exactly what is on the ground. I think this should be encouraged, and they should go further and make sure that
it's a grassroots affair.
Yes, because that grassroots affair, as far as security is concerned, that's where the rubber meets the road.
All right. Yes.
Let me give you the context where we make mistakes.